Well, hey, everybody, welcome back. You guys know me, Indoor Promised Land, New York John, here with you on a Saturday afternoon. Thanks for joining us. It's nothing but flowers. Hey guys, thanks for joining me today, man. I love rocking out to that tune. Talking Heads, back from the 80s. If you guys remember, some of you guys might be too young. Maybe you heard it on one of those We Love the 80s soundtrack albums. But yeah, man, I love that song. Nothing but flowers. It speaks of a post-apocalyptic vision where all the malls are covered in clover and beautiful vines, and all the bridges and the huge structures of man have been decayed and patinaed with, overgrowth, the planet growing back. Nothing but flowers. Yeah, great vision, man. Fantastic vision. Hey, everybody, how we doing today? You know me, New York John, here at the Indoor Promised Land. And if you're with me right now, it means you fucking were driving as fast as you fucking could with some bad information in the back seat down the disinformation cannabis superhighway. You saw a big fucking 22 car pile up ahead. You said, fuck this, hard right. Noped right off the highway. Just nope. Fucking hard right off the highway into the wilderness. Drove through for a little while. Trials and tribulations, all sorts of experimentation. And you ended up here, which is fortuitous because we got some good growers for you here today, man. I mean, I'm happy to be with you. I hope you guys enjoy watching what you watch here. Thank you to everybody who's joining us right now. In fact, let me fix a thing here because, bam, there we are. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. See, I'm getting the hang of it. There we are. Indoor Promised Land, New York John. You can see, boom, right there. Want to give a quick shout out to my buddy Mikey H for making up these graphics for me, and a bigger shout out to our buddy JP over there at the Yield Source, who helped me to push that fucking bar all the way down to here so you get to see it for the first time. It looks good, right? Looks good. The logo's looking good. A little brand representation, all right? Got a little bit of this action. Woo! Some of that action. We'll stick with this right here. Boom. How is everybody today? Let me take a look at comments because I know there's a lot of you guys in there. 27 and growing. It's early. So if you're out on the West Coast, it's early. If you're here on the East Coast, it's early afternoon. I don't know where you guys are. We've been having snow. Had the plow guy out this morning to plow us out in the driveway. Really haven't been anywhere. Not planning on going anywhere. Just going to kind of hang out here at the house. Try to stay out of the cold. Nancy Neptune, good to see you over there in chat, honey. Hi. It's an hello, like you say, right? Flyby, good to see you. Hey, that thing is in the mail. I'll get you that tracking number. I got the receipt somewhere here. All right. Sorry for the delay. Also, if any of you are expecting any prizes or seeds, there's a couple people expecting seeds. Those have been sent out as well. I'll get you guys up with the confirmation IDs or whatever. So, all right. Canna Claus, hey, welcome back, bud. Good to see you. Yeah. Organic Grow Channel, John. We all know John. Good to see you. Everybody here in the Indoor Promised Land neighborhood, we all kind of know each other. We're all kind of the same crew. We got 31 people picked up 4 more in the last few minutes. That's why I like to do a little bit of loose horse shit, kind of shoot the shit, say hi to people in chat. Good to see you out there, Tiberius. I see the LED grower. Good to see you, buddy. Thank you for the shout out. And JC Smith, what's going on? Bulaine, yo to you too. Of course, we always have Wild is here. We always have Wild. It's always a wild time here at the Indoor Promised Land. But yeah, that's why I like to kind of shoot the shit for a minute. So people start. Now we got 4 more, 35 people. So we don't want anybody to miss the show. We don't want anybody to come in late, miss something. So I enjoy spending the time with you guys here, or especially early. Sorry, I was a couple minutes late, but I was trying to figure out how to get the music up on the thing, and it just didn't work. So you saw me with my cell phone pressed up against the earpiece. I hope that sounded okay. If it didn't, let me know. Usually you guys let me know. Nico D, what's going on, buddy? Cheers from Barcelona. Good to see you out there, man. I hope it's a good time out there in Spain. Are you traveling? I know you're from south of France. Are you traveling right now? Maybe on a little holiday? Let us know in the comments. Keep it growing. Good to see you, buddy. Cheers. Good to see you. Yeah, today's beverage of the day is just some Folgers coffee. Reheated from this morning. A little bit of extra cream. You see, because I got that little cream line there. This is like a second cup, right? It's satisfactory. It's nice first thing in the morning, but the third or fourth cup, it's kind of like, it's good to see you, Viking King. Thanks for showing up today, man. I see you talking hi to Zib. Zib must be out there. Good to see you, Zib. Red Pill Grower, smash that like button. Hey, I appreciate that support. Yeah, guys, if you can see the like button, hit that like button. It does help. If you leave a comment, go at Indoor Promised Land, at me. Hit that ampersand, all right? That lets the logarithm know that people are talking about me, saying hi, and specifically, with comments directed to me. For some reason, that makes a difference out there, and it's nice because I see it over there in my notifications that somebody added me. So if you're gonna leave a comment, leave an @. If you want to talk to other people, leave an @. Even leave a hashtag. That's good too, man. It's all good karma. It's all good karma. Good internet protocol for behavior. And it seems like, hey, if this is how I'm going to reach you, those are the rules we got to play by. I'd like to reach more people out there if possible. I don't know if you noticed, but I'm not wearing my vest today. I'm wearing this nice checkered, I don't know, one of these fucking sweaters because it's actually kind of hot down here today. I got the lights on in the background. I had the heater on. The lights turned on at 11. It's getting a little warm. Even though we have snow, some of you guys know snow makes like an insulated thermal layer. It sort of blankets. When you got it coming down from the sky, when you have it on the ground, it sort of like regulates the temperature, and suddenly you got like, crazy winter outdoors, but sometimes not always as cold as the temperature reads. Nuggy, good to see you, man. Hope things are going out good there at the ranch with you and Lone Villain. If Lone Villain's here, hello to him too. I hope you guys and the Mrs. Nuggy and Mrs. Villain are doing good out there on the ranch. Hey, Yield Source is out there, dude. It's good to see you, dude. JP, I was just telling everybody how you helped me get those graphics pushed all the way down to the bottom third. So, big ups to you for sure, man. They've been a big help to us. And some of you guys know JP. He and I had an interview yesterday, which you'll be seeing in a couple weeks. We were talking about his first time. So another segment recorded for that. Today, I have another one for you. I hope you guys enjoy it. Someone from outside of our community, of course, people you guys might know. So we'll announce that here in a little bit. What else today? Organic Grow Channel. Yeah, we already said hi to John. Okay, Verm, good to see you. Verm, thanks for making time for us. Happy Cultivator. Dude, it's good to always see you and Gigi. When you guys go live, you show off your plants. If you guys don't know Happy Cultivator, and if you don't know Hemp with If you don't know Hemp with Gigi, please go check those guys out. They're giving great information. Happy Cult's been growing along with hemp for a little bit, getting better on his own. I think Happy Cult is already where hemp was when those guys hooked up and met and started, getting together. Kind of had a little bit of apprenticeship there, but for what it's worth, like they've both continued to grow in their abilities and to grow and learn from each, successive round. It's really nice to see like an already talented grower get better and better. But also, I got to give a shout out to Gigi. He has like the gift of the gab. He's able to teach. He's able to kind of like narrow things down. So if you're a new grower and you're listening to me right now, or you're listening in the future, go over and check out Hemp with Gigi. All right. And, check out some of the back catalog of videos. He's always showing you what he got going on in the tent. It's always something good to look at. It's always something good to learn from. And lately he's really been honing in, the information and how to present that in some basic concepts. So the proof is in the pudding with Happy Cultivator, probably his most prominent student, definitely the star pupil for sure. Man, I could see you doing the same thing in a little while yourself, being able to share your experience and what you've learned, and even to stand on the shoulders of giants. And I think that's what we do here. I think that's why we try to maintain community, because we all want to kind of get better at what we do. And it's always, when you get good enough, it's hard to find the giants anymore, but you try to remember back to like all the people who already kind of laid the path for how you understand growing, and the information that you got, places that you turned when you needed to fill your head with more positive and accurate information. There's a good handful of giants I could think of out there, especially a couple. But that's the thing, is we get to see further because we stand on the shoulders of giants. So let's continue to be giants out there in the community. Everybody's getting big. I love it. It's good to see all the people that I came up with are now all doing their own thing and making their own moves. All the growers we've met along the way are now not just, successful, but, routinely successful, consistent, making their own content, showing people, also taking on pupils. And this is actually something that, like, just as a thought, and I'm just kind of free associating right now, I've been having some conversation with some other YouTube creators, people who are proven growers, people who prove their skills all the time. And, something I heard last week in the interview that I did with Chad was Chad Westport on his My First Time, we guys saw last weekend. He had said something about, like, he wished that he had been in an apprenticeship situation. And when I think about Happy Cultivator with Gigi, that's very much the model for like that educational structure, being under somebody, not going out and finding other information, focusing on one, teacher, and then having a good teacher that you've chosen, or a good teacher who's chosen you. It is hard because, we're at great distances, but also we have this internet thing. And, I was asking other people in the community what they thought about, maybe, especially if they're creators, doing something like what we're doing here, like what Chronic does, like what Nuggy does, like, so on and so forth. If some of us might consider, engaging in a big brother, little sister, big sister, whatever it is, genders aside, like a big brother, little brother program where we can take one grower specifically under our wing, and just kind of focus our energy, our time, and our content creation on that one grower. If you guys remember back and you were watching along with me with Grow Boss this time last year, maybe even a little earlier, when we hooked up with Grow Boss Mandy, Mandy, if I'm speaking to you now and you're hearing about it for the first time, great. And there's a lot of people out there who already know the story, but Mandy had a facility out there in the Midwest, I think. And she had a grower. The grower wasn't that great. She and her father and the rest of her family had put an awful lot of time into this like legitimate, state sanctioned grow operation, and, second harvest in, and they were suffering. I mean, just shit plants. And that's when Mandy met the Grow Boss. All right. And he kind of picked up immediately and was like, I want to take you under my wing. Let's just do this. And we would see Mandy like at least once a week, once every 10 days, eventually once every 2 weeks as she started getting better. And, 4 hours at a time, 4 or 5 hour programs, just focused on teaching Mandy how to, shape up a plant, what they should look like, how to control them and their growth going in through veg into flower, and what your expectations should be rather than the crap that she was getting with her other grower. So she fires the other grower. In fact, one of our friends, Tone G, goes out there, shares some of his experience, gets her set up with another round of clones, and something like that. I don't know, helps her out with her next round. And and then there's a great impact on her business. And of course, all of us watching, we could see the size of these warehouse rooms. This was like a propagation space. This was like a clone space. This was a veg space, a late veg space, 2 flower rooms, big spaces, everything was sitting on, like drain trays, like trays, and everything was like waist height, and, fucking 20-foot warehouse ceilings and lights they spend quite a bit of money on, and, everything, just all the finishings, all the trimmings, all the things you'd think you'd find in a professional grow. And to see like, the second round and just another round of failure and excuses, just watching the impact of Grow Boss spending his time on her. And this is my point, especially for you creators out there, you people who have been growing for a while, maybe it is a thing where we can kind of form a union of, like, all right, we'll take one grower, because then you could take one grower instead of every single grower out there, and you can go over all the details. You can go over all your experience and share all your wisdom and knowledge with them. And in a way, you don't have to speak to 20, 100, 1,000 growers. You could just say, oh, go back to, Big Brother, Little Brother, episode 3, and you'll see the answers to your questions. You could refer back to your own material, kind of make it singular. because that's a problem, is like we can get burned out if we're helping everybody all the time. I find it to be true of myself, trying to keep track of all the relationships, who I'm giving advisement to, someone reaches out for a hand, especially as I've been inviting that, asking people to talk to me about, something that they have a dream with doing DWC or they want to give it a try. So right now, like specifically like Caleb, the fellow you've been watching along with me, we had him on the program a few weeks ago, and you guys got a chance to see like where he was, second or 20th day of, flower. He sent me a picture earlier. In fact, let me share this picture with you. But like, he's been my guy. He's been the dude that I've been spending like, the significant amount of time. And I wish that I had the camera on the whole time. I wish that all the conversations that I was having with him backstage were actually like logged somewhere, and kept for posterity. Because I think that some of the information, certainly most of the information that I've shared with him, is relevant to anybody who wants to try it out. And along the way, I've also shared with him some of my knowledge about just growing in general, shaping plants, controlling plants, the shapes that we're looking for, and gave advice and soothsayed, kind of predicted the future and kind of helped them see like, if this is going to be this today, this is what it's going to be like a little in the future. And I think that's a valuable asset. And if we had recorded all of that, then I could just say, oh yeah, go back and check this guy out on this episode or whatnot. So to round it all back out again and bring it back to the original point was, I'm wondering if there is, a lot of people are super busy, and I get it. I think some of us have come up enough and we present our own material enough that we could lend a hand. We could say out in our own communities and our YouTube communities and our, other 420 corners of the community online, we could say like, hey, if there's someone who specifically wants my help, we'll just focus on one person, and then just do that, be helpful to one person really well and record it. Like I should have been doing the whole time with Caleb. And maybe we do. Maybe we get like a big brother, little brother program, some sort of, I don't know, internet-wide or community-wide like apprenticeship thing where eventually all of us, having gone over it with just one individual who's learning to grow, might have faced all of the problems. Large enough group, large enough sampling will have looked at every problem or every concern, every aspect that there is to growing in all of its phases. And then we can all take a weekend off and just say, hey, check back to Caleb's video number 2 where that question is answered. Because we do. Like, I know you guys out there. I mean, I've seen a lot of phenomenal growers, not just growers, but content creators who show growing right here in the chat today. You guys know it. It's every week. We kind of hang in the middle of the boat with successful people. So I'm saying to you guys now, like, if there's someone been asking you like, hey, I could use a little bit of help, instead of helping everybody, worry about maybe just that one person. Maybe just do it with that one person and document it really well, make it intentional. Eventually we'll cover all the topics, and yeah, we can take a weekend off where we don't have to answer questions. We don't have to give tours. We don't have to, correct or, call out, or we don't have to, encourage everybody. But it is nice. It's nice when you could help as many people as you can. People come out of the woodwork asking for help. That's the nature of learning a new skill. It's the nature of learning a new hobby, is looking at the people who are already doing it. For me, this channel is about those aha moments where, even as a budding grower, I saw stuff that was like, oh, wow. Even other growers like myself, I was watching Tone G early on and going, well, this guy's really up in the bar and he's taking it to like a production level. And I wonder, without him, how much I would have been encouraged to step up my game a little bit, not just with size, but like plant size, plant count, those numbers. And kind of follow his method, and then I've met other growers along the way. And I know we have too, who have upped the bar, up the ante, and we've all kind of seen that and gone, what, you just changed the one thing, ask a successful person what they did to get success, and you repeat that process, you will be successful yourself, so it's, kind of like the evolution of the sport, so to speak, anyway, I want to just look back over here. I want to welcome, I don't know how to do that name, but DeCalio, what's up? Good to see you. I know VPD Grows Booth is out there somewhere. We got Dr. Dab. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today, Dr. Dab. JC Smith, always a welcome and ever present member of the community. Everywhere we go, we see JC. Thank you for coming out today. Here's a name I don't recommend. I don't remember, or I don't recognize. Is Jimtown Steve. Jimtown Steve. Wow. All right. Jimtown Steve. Good morning. Welcome. If it's out on the West Coast, it's, what is it, like 9 o'clock? Thank you for joining us this early. I wonder if you're having your cup of coffee or whatever you enjoy, your tea in the morning. I had to wet the whistle now. So we see VPDs out there. Good to see you, VPD. We used to know D grows boof. Now it's VPD grows some bush. So fantastic, right? Fantastic. And he's talking about grower talent, which, hey, that's that X factor. That's that thing that, unless you have it, it's hard to get success consistently. And that's where a big brother might come in. So, someone who apprentices with you, someone who's going to give you advice so that you don't have to fall into all the stumbling, the trappings, like the trip ups that other people have succeeded in falling snare to. There's a lot of mistakes you could make over the 4-month process of growing plants. And even if you get good at veg, maybe you're not good at transition. If you're good at transition and veg, maybe you're not good at flower. There's always somewhere we got to learn. So we really we could be giants out there in the community and let people stand on our shoulders to see farther, and not, especially as more and more of us are documenting successful gardens. Guys, when we started out, especially some of you guys OG, especially like maybe 8 or 9 or 10 years you've been spending with me on the internet learning how to grow. There's a lot of bad information out there, and I don't always claim to be the source for the good information. I'm not much of a teacher myself. At least I'm not good at communicating, teaching, and information like many of you are. Again, I'm looking at you like Hemp with Gigi. You're able to keep things concise, present it to a community in an easy way. Cut out all the unnecessary bullshit, cut out all the excess stuff that people stumble on or get caught up on. Just keep it basic and simple. How to get a plant ready for flower, how to bring that flowering plant all the way to harvest, basic stuff. Eliminate all the unnecessaries. Keep it simple. Yeah. I think that, that's good advice, but a lot of people are better at peddling that. A lot of people want to spend more time doing editing and presentation, and it makes that information easier to swallow, easier to digest. And for those reasons, there's a lot of places that I look that maybe it was a little rough around the edges. The information's better or more accurate, but you got to cut past that part where it's like hard to watch, or maybe it's a long format discussion where there's like 2 or 3 nuggets of truth in there in a 3-hour discussion. And maybe if these aren't even people or people you look up to, maybe you're not going to stick around for 3 hours and listen to get those, 2 kernels of, solid truth that are meaningful to you where you are as a grower. So I admire the people who are intentional. They sit down, they record those kernels of truth. They go take 1, take 2, take 3, take 4. They go through all the editing, they check everything, they sync up all the audio, they make it palatable. So kudos to all you guys out there who are working in the community and trying to teach online, trying to teach through YouTube, especially as difficult as YouTube makes it for us to be seen, to be recognized, to even just be found on the platform. We're certainly not getting any favors. We're not being displayed any favoritism. The little guy, So anyway, so I was telling you guys about a picture, and let's see if I can share this with you. I'm gonna go there, and nope. Yeah, I'm always wrong with this. I just closed out one screen that I was ready to show you to make another screen that I was ready to show you. So still figuring this stuff out. It's hard to do with one hand, Some of you guys might have caught that one. Let's see. Window, click. That's the one. So this is Caleb's grow as it is right now. I'm really very proud of this fellow. Check that out. And we met with him 2 weeks ago. So 14 days ago, I think we're day 30 in flower. Things aren't going to grow up any further. I don't have an experience with the 350 watt light or whatever it was that he has for his LED. I'm not familiar with that particular wattage and what it can do, but I have to imagine being an LED and being as close as he's got it now with as bushy of a canopy that still, he might end up having some like little boofy areas, but we've cleaned up everything that was below the trellis. So everything you're seeing right now, that massive plant is all above the trellis and there's very little beneath. Really tried to work, and you watched along with us as we did. We, gave him advice and told him kind of, what to remove. The plant on the right, smaller than the plant on the left. But now that you look at it as one solid photograph, it's kind of hard to tell the difference. Although when we had done like the cleaning up of the bottom and cleaning up of some extra nodes we didn't need and extra branching, the plant on the right was less tall. So everything cleaned up to the trellis made up like almost 2/3 of the vertical height of that plant, 2/3 of the mass for sure, right? And it looked a little more sparse than the plant on the left, which was, about 50% high before you hit the trellis. So everything we cleaned up beneath the trellis only made up 50% of that plant. So it looked a lot different. And you could see it's bushier. It's got a little more substance to it, more branches for sure. But I think we've whittled things down to about 8 or 9 main branches and probably a good small handful, 5, 6, 7 of, kind of intermediate side branching that got kept above the trellis line. And yeah, it's turning out very well. It's what you would expect, day 30 of flower. Things are really starting to pack on some weight now. And you could see that there's not much stem between nodes because those buds are growing and filling in those spaces, and they're turning into what's going to eventually be colas for him. So this being his like 4th attempt at growing, 5th attempt at growing, 1st attempt in DWC, I'm really proud of him. So, maybe I would point to that as being like some of the evident benefits to working one-on-one with somebody, very specifically and intentionally one person working one-on-one. And I would invite you guys to think about that, if you have the ability to do so. Of course, we have seen those relationships in the past. They play out online, they play out in chats. People become advocates of other growers. And as an advocate of another grower, I want to see their success. I want to see this is not showing on my talents. This actually just tells me a little bit about my ability to convey information and to convey the right information. But the rest of it, all of it, the 90 other % of it is grower talent. Caleb knew how to grow coming into DWC, so his 4th grow, he already kind of had some of the concepts. We haven't had to talk much about generally plant growing, but there has been some of that. I have conveyed some stuff that, like, he even said he was watching a GrowBoss video the other day about shaping plants, and something finally clicked for him with it. And he didn't know why it hadn't struck him in all of his previous grows, or he also didn't know why it hadn't struck him when he had heard that information presented a different way. But for that moment, when he was in the place where he was receptive to that information, it clicked for him. So yeah, it's neat, man. Like the things that we put down in record, the things that we have to offer people in the future. This thing that we're doing here, being on the internet and showing off our talents, bringing in other talented growers and showing off, their good works and their good deeds and letting them explain how that happened. Like, it's not just a thing we're doing today. We're putting it out there on the internet. It's got a little bit of a record to it. People in the future will have access to this. So, it's funny because I'm talking now, but I think about someone maybe 5 or 6 years from now kind of stumbling across this video and hearing me say this, and maybe we'll have a direct connection that way, even though it's not linear, even though it's not, it's not a real relationship. Someone's going to learn from me later. Hopefully somebody's going to learn from you guys, and people listening to me right now might learn more and become the next guy who shares that information. So yeah. Hey man, 53 viewers out there. I am grateful for every one of you guys out there for being with me here today. Let me know what you're smoking on. I'm about to roll up a J. I've got some more of these orangutan titties. Man, I fucking love this shit. I am looking forward to having some new flavors with the Afgoo coming up, and behind that, lemon drip and mimosa. So we're going to have a little more flavors in the house, but we've got, a reasonable stock of this stuff left, my own personal stash. And, I just enjoy it. I have been leaning more and more on the rosin carts that I've been making for my little vape pen. I enjoy that throughout the week. So it's nice to go a little bit of old school and smoke a joint with you guys on the weekend. So if you've got your coffees, go ahead and pour another one. We'll take a quick second. We'll roll up some J's, pack up the dab rigs. If you guys are enjoying this morning, let us know what you're enjoying. All right. It's good to see you, Chronic, man. Hey, welcome over here, man. Ben, another good teacher, someone who's putting down a lot of information to record, not just documenting their own process, but documenting the really good information over there is Chronic at Chronic's Grows. And his videos are fantastic. Another one of those people who are putting time and effort into, making things that are easily palatable, soft on the eyes, easy to get along with. And you can see the sort of successes that he has in the phenomenally consistent grows, phenomenally consistent plants within a tent. You just, you see good grows out there, but it's not often you see them all the time. And it's funny because we're all kind of like the self-critical chefs. I've never met like a person who made a meal for friends and family who didn't immediately apologize about something about the meal. Like, oh, I'm sorry that none of the steaks got to rare their medium rare, or I'm sorry the potatoes are a little gummy, or I'm sorry the pasta wasn't quite al dente. It's like the people who make the thing are always the first apologists for it. But we put in our time and our effort, and we know the differences, even if they weren't evident, like maybe the problems we had along the way or the inconsistencies between one and the other. Like those skeletons could be easily buried in a closet. They could easily be stuffed under the stairs or buried under the porch, so to speak. But we air our own skeletons, people who are honest about our processes. And so, I always appreciate that when I see that in the community. Whenever I'm telling Kron, like, oh, you got a great thing going, he's always like, oh, yeah, but then this happened. And it's like, that might be the evidence of like a really conscientious grower, like a really honest grower. Someone who's going to give you honest information. Is someone going to tell you what they're not entirely satisfied with, even when everything looks perfect. And yeah, that's the devil's in the details. Justin Bean says, I'm sorry I burnt the hamburger helper. I don't know what that means, but that's awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm sorry I burnt. Yeah. How do you burn the hamburger helper? Yeah, that's right. Hey, I'm sorry. The Pop-Tart's not quite warm enough. Yeah. Small Tubes, welcome to the show. It's good to see you, buddy. Chiba Man, always good to see you out there in the community. Thanks for being a frequent visitor here. 58 people watching right now. Well, I haven't showed you anything, and I really haven't said much. Somehow I've managed to fill, where are we? I don't know, 33 minutes with idle banter. But you know what? This is what I have going on right now. I was trying to get Caleb to see if he could come on to the show. What I haven't done is I haven't put out what I haven't put down is the link for you guys to get in. So we're going to do that shortly. All right. I'm going to take a look here and see if I've gotten any further communication with him, because if he could join us today, that'd be awesome. Nope, he's on the river fishing. Okay. Way to go, Caleb. If you see this later, I hope you caught something good, man. I hope you had a good day and it's not too cold out there on the river. I think he's down south a little bit from us, judging by his accent. If you guys haven't had a chance, man, go back and watch that episode 2 weeks ago. You get to see, a new grower kind of, finding their own and learning and really excited about the explosive growth that they're seeing for the first time in deep water culture, right? Maybe it's an aha moment for somebody out there. I think it's an aha moment for him. And that's exciting to watch. Roger, good to see you. Money Never Sleeps. Also, I don't see you around too often, but there you are, buddy. Dawson, thank you for coming along. Hey, everybody. Yeah. All right. I do have something I want to show you guys right now, because I've laid down another episode of the I've actually recorded a few of them this week. We had a good couple interviews with my first time. And if you guys wouldn't mind joining along with me. Hey, Tao, just wanted to stop and say hi. I didn't see you there before. Good to see you, the American one. Fucking talented grower out there. Also, hey, man, we got a lot of community people coming out right now from the Cocoa for Cannabis. We see Brian 420. Brian is one of those people who records data, and he's very good at presenting that data. If you guys want to see some data about, he does all sorts of like breakdowns, nutrients at times, nutrients effectivity, levels of phos. I mean, just charts, good data that's pertinent to what we're doing here. Super Bob, also good to see you, man. Super Bob's one of those amazing gardeners. He's creating situations for himself that he's kind of MacGyver over there. Outside of the he's not buying specific equipment. He's making the equipment. It's beautiful stuff, man. Yeah, Brian 420, he follows the kind of nutrient stuff, man. And I've learned some things. The first time I met Brian, I think he was hanging out with Weed Nerd or something, and they were really getting into some like technicals, and I was like, wow, what are these guys even talking about? I'm not even sure I understand the method of measurement that they're using. But once I started paying a little bit of attention, like kind of realized some of this stuff is pertinent to what I'm doing. And, I think there's many charts of like different nutrient lines, different nutrient programs. Charts. Did he just say charts? Probably said charts. Fits and starts, shits and farts, shits and charts. Shits and giggles. There we go. Fits and starts. What was that joke? I think I heard a joke back in the day. It was like, what's the difference between a incontinent prostitute and epileptic oyster bar worker? And the answer was, one of them shits while they fucks, and the other one fits while they shucks. Sorry, guys. I might even cut that out. That was too much. Fuck. All right. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to present to you right now the most recent episode that we recorded for my first time. Some of you guys might know this individual. I feel like 14 or 15,000 of you people are subscribed to them. So without further ado, I want to welcome to the Indoor Promised Land stage right now with our second episode of My First Time, Basement Grow Show, Grower Joe. Okay. And we had a good time over there. So please enjoy. My first time here at the Indoor Promised Land. I promised you guys I'd get you someone special to talk about their first time. And what do you know? We've got a special guest today. Grower Joe decided he would come along with us and tell us a little bit about his first time. How you doing, Grower Joe? Audio problems.
Oh, you got me now?
I got you now. Yeah.
I said, how are you doing, man? Thanks for having me on the show.
That's great, man. Hey, it's all right. I always have the technical hiccups. It's kind of like my brand, you know. I come with tech issues. So, you know, I was just telling these guys that I've been interviewing people, proven growers across the internet, asking them to tell me and my viewers about their first time growing. Now, I mean, there could be some, you know, salacious details or, you know, a little bit of like humbling experience as we look back. How many grows do you think you've done now, if you had to guess?
That's a good question, man. Are we talking like full cycles? Are we talking like the amount of number of plants? Like what?
Yeah, how many like full cycles have you run? You've been doing this for a while, right?
Full cycles, man. I get about probably about 4 or 5 a year. And I've been doing it for, what is it now? I've been on here now for 3 years, so 4 years.
All right.
What's the math on that, man? It's not a lot, but it is a lot at the same time, right? Because I'm like anybody that's in here watching this. I'm just a regular dude in my basement that decided I'm gonna learn and teach myself how to get high off my own stuff over here.
That's right.
Which entails me growing my own cannabis, man. So it's been a bit. I'm getting better and better every day, and I'm just going to consistently get better as we go, right? So
that sounds like it's 20 something grows, man. That's like a good log. Most people have a hard time keeping up with like 5 a year, especially those early years. You maybe get like 3 or 4 in, depending how well you're doing. But I wanted to talk to you about your first time, and I have to say, like, I cheated. I did a little bit of cramming for this test with you. I saw you a couple weeks back doing a live, and you were talking about this very thing, and that's why I thought this might be a good synergy. Before I pop the question, I got to tell you, the level of humility with which you were talking about your first grow is something which I do not see, at least from 420 community YouTube creators, people who are known for growing, people who are known for teaching. And I was really struck by that. And I think that's why, like, you know, we've never really talked before. I watch your show. I don't know if you watch mine, but I've seen you around, and I thought, like, wow, that guy's really got it. So can you tell me about your first grow? What was that like?
First off, I appreciate what you're saying, man, because like I just try to really just kind of keep it 100% over here, man. And I'm from the Maritime, so 100% to me means just like if I fuck up, I'm going to show you where I fucked up. And if I screw up, I'm going to tell you, hey, don't do this because I did it and it kind of fucked up. But we got talking about my first grow over on my live show, man, because people are asking about drying and curing cannabis. And obviously we all have our different ways of doing it. But the neat thing about my first grow, man, is I started with a fucking $100 light on Amazon.
Nice.
Started with auto flowers because I didn't want to have a timer. I didn't have the money to get it. I started with Pro Mix BX, which I continue to grow with today, man. I started with just kind of the essentials. It's if you're going to get drunk, you're going to get some alcohol in a cup. And I was going to grow, so I was just going to get the simple essentials: seeds, a light, a room, and soil, man. And that's all I really had when I started. And then I found this weird community on here that we're all starting to grow. I mean, John, you, myself, there's so many other accounts on here that are just sharing their grows. And I think my first time was shared on Instagram. I started sharing my pictures and sharing my videos and sharing my story. And I was kind of hiding my face. And eventually I started to show it. But my first grow was pretty funny, guys, because we just found out that I actually dried and grew and cured all in the same tent. So I would have a grow on the go with my lights on, and then I'd have the harvest from before drying above those said lights.
Yeah.
That's how stupid I was.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, that dries them pretty fast, getting them up above. What was that $100 light you said you had? Was that some T5s, or was that like
I think the name was like Burial or Bella. I ended up passing them on to a buddy. He passed them on to a buddy. And these lights are still in circulation. People are still growing weed with this $100 light that I bought 4.5 years ago. So it's kind of fucking funny, man. Just a little Burple Amazon light for $100. I don't even think they sell them purple anymore. Maybe they do.
Oh no, yeah, you just dated yourself with the blurple, because that was like kind of some still new technology, some years back. Of course, everyone's moved on from them, especially people in the YouTube community, because it's difficult to get a good like video or camera shot under purple like that. It's crazy, but it did grow stuff, and you kind of nailed it. You hit a couple points there where just keeping it simple, the bare essentials, right? Just to get started. Why go all in? Why go thousands of dollars in? Why collect all the equipment you don't know how to use yet, when all you're trying to do is to finish? That's really all you're trying to do, is finish. You finished and you harvested 100%. Your first grow.
That's the important thing, right? Because like it didn't really matter what happened at the end, because all I was trying to do was compensate how much I was smoking with trying to grow a little bit to kind of take care of that cost. So I think it was like $400, and I was spending like double that at the time. And I transferred that over into grow equipment. $400 worth of grow equipment wasn't that much stuff at the time. Now you can get like a full setup for $400. Now I started, man, and I'm like, whatever I get is going to be awesome. But it turned out to be decent, man. I got decent buds. They were fluffy for sure, but they were covered in trichomes. They had a smell to them that I've never experienced before, because all the weed that I've been getting was from either the black market allegedly, or I was getting it from my dispensary, which didn't have much flavor either. So I remember chopping down this plant. I remember being so proud of it, man. And then we came to smoke it, and me and my wife got so fucking high off it. We got higher than we've ever gotten before. And I continue to say that, like, maybe there's this weird connection with the plant and me, and if you want to think all crazy like that, but it really did happen, man. I got as high as I probably ever got in my life. And then I fell in love with it. Like, my wife and I talked about it down here the other day. This is like the longest I've done something consistently this much that I've like been in love with. Right. So it captured me, man. And I met a lot of cool people on these platforms, and I continue to meet them, and I'm starting to like meet them in person. And that's so fucking cool, because your first time can go from just learning to like smoking with buddies that grow on here. And it's so fucking cool, man. You're going to experience it too. You're going to have a guest on here someday. You're going to love it. And then eventually you're going to smoke weed together, and you're like, that's crazy, man. This is the world we live in now, right?
Yeah, it's certainly, here down in America, it's states are opening up, it's become at least a little easier, a little less illegitimate to be able to talk about these things like in an online community, although some people out there still live in fear. There's a direct line between that first time and the 20 or some 25 grows you said you've had since then. Did you do any like experimenting or fucking around like back in college or high school, or did you like throw no seeds out in like the mom's garden or underneath the stairs?
And like my first time getting high, man, was with my brother. My parents were away. I've told this story a million times on my podcast, but I'll brief it up for you. My brother was basically getting a bunch of girls from high school together to have pretty much a high orgy, from what I could see being in grade 9. I mean, I didn't experience that type of energy before, but these guys are coming in hot, and they get me high before this kind of thing goes down. Now, I was not getting involved because I was just a young kid back then thinking girls were crazy, right? But these guys had a time, and I was high as a kite. They put me in the bubble. So they were talking to me like, what the hell, man? So I didn't get high all the way through high school until grade 12, man, until I started experimenting again. And then I only did it really for a little bit. And then when I met my wife, me and my wife started to puff at nighttime. And then I really started seeing the benefits of how it would calm me down, how it would really dial me in and give me some creativity that I never really had. Right. And then now it's used every day medically.
Yeah. You mentioned it about your first grow. You were putting it, uploading it to like YouTube or Instagram. You were making videos about it. What were the sort of things you said about your grow? I mean, you said you're proud about it. Like, did you feel like you were at the top of fuck mountain, you were king of the hill, or
like at first I was like, oh fuck, man, I'm growing like the best shit, right? Because I didn't know any growers, right? Where I come from, growers wouldn't let you in their garden. So
right.
I just found this Instagram thing. And this was when it was really small. Like there's a lot of people that have come and have gone, right? And there's a lot of us that are still here. And some of them are watching this for sure because the communities are intertwined. People that watch your stuff, watch my stuff.
Oh yeah, lots of crossover. It's good. Yeah.
Where I was getting with that is, wait, am I high? Am I on the right track for this question? What was the question again?
Yeah, we were talking about like you were showing your stuff and it was your first time. So you were kind of like gauging that with low expectations or no previous knowledge. It sounds like your first one was successful. Like you got high off of it, but I remember your show a couple weeks ago and you were kind of laughing about how, now you actually know a thing. You've done it like 20 something times. You've learned from a lot of growers. We've had time and experience to build our skills. But like, yeah, I remember my first grow. I was like, oh, look, I'm the shit. I'm gonna be like El Chapo of weed. It's like, no, it's hard work, man. It's gardening.
It's a lot of work, man.
It's dirty work.
Humbling too, because like you could have the best fucking start to a grow, and you could be a week out and something fucking go wrong, or you could be getting ready to flip the flower and fucking something goes wrong, and it's like it's very stressful, but it's also very rewarding too, right? Like when you can hand some of this to your buddy and he's high as a kite down in your basement, and like, what the fuck was that, man? And you're like, that's fucking fresh weed, man. Like that's fresh grown, cured weed. You're getting every ounce of energy that's coming out of that bud, right? Where smoking stuff that's been sitting on the shelf is just not the same deal, man. I was the same way though. I was the kingpin, so we were both kingpin, dude. We were like the top dogs, man, until we started finding more accounts, right? And realized, hey, this could get a lot better. And that's when I kind of fell in love with it.
Well, that's like me, when I first actually got like probably by my third or fourth grow, my first real good harvest, no problems the whole way through. I blew my own fucking mind. And even looking back, like I've done much better since then, as would be expected. So is your quality different now than it was then? You're not using the same process. You're not using the same bulb. You're not doing autos right now. Like what's different?
I think the biggest thing that I changed, man, was just consistency and trying to like really control my environment, right?
There it is.
So I document like everything pretty much. I'm filming in there 95% of the time. Now I should be filming probably more, and I probably should be even filming like behind the scenes stuff, even things like this, right? Just so that we can really show everything. But I remember like at first I really didn't take it as serious, man. So I wasn't like consistent on my pH. I wasn't consistent on adjusting my light height. I wasn't consistent on my humidity. I'd let it run out every now and then. But now I'm in there every single day, sometimes twice a day, 3 times a day, even longer if I want to get away, right? But I'm in there making sure humidity's good. I'm making sure temperatures are good. And sometimes you even adjust it to the certain extent of where maybe your heater can't get you to that temperature, so you move it a little closer or you back it up a little bit. So some of these tricks, right? And I think the more time that you spend in there, just like if you compared it to a sport, the more you practice, the better you're going to get, right? I'm definitely not a pro yet. I don't even think I'm at an Olympic level yet, but I'm getting better every day, man. And the nugs like went from boof to bang, man. So like they're hard as a rock now. They're covered in crystal, man. The flavors are amazing and the high intensity is through the roof. So I can't complain, man.
Right. And your level of experience and the way that you're able to talk about it and share that with people and help people, it really does speak to being consistent. And not just that, not just not failing the whole time, but exceeding, doing better. And when we have failures, like what? We learn from that. We take a note. Hopefully, we know what caused it. Hopefully, it was something obvious or accidental or couldn't be planned. But, problems do happen, and not every grow is going to be better than the last. If you're helping a lot of people because you show your grows, and you're also very available to people to talk about. If you guys don't know, Grower Joe's over from Basement Grow Show, right? And I've been seeing you a little more live lately, but you've always sort of had that, casual format where you interact with an audience, you help people solve some problems. Let's hop in a time machine. We're going to take you back 25 grows ago. You now, knowing what you know now, what would you say to Grower Joe 25 grows ago? What would you maybe say? Hey, look out for this, or don't worry about that. Like, what would be your advice to some years ago, Joe?
Oh, geez, man, that's a good question. Hey, man, love firing the questions here. Honestly, I'd probably just say, like, just get started, man. Like, I spent a lot of time at the beginning just like searching through accounts, finding people like Mr. Canuck, Seed to Stone. And then the guys that I came along a little bit after that was like Rob from CLTV, Mr. Grow It, channels like that. I would say get engaged in the community really early. Let people really know who you are, man, and stay straight to that. But interact with people and build true friendships. The growing's going to come, man. If you love growing, it's going to come, and the community is going to help you get there, because everybody's got an answer for everything. But real friends, man, are actually communicating behind the scenes in the DMs. I've got friendships on this platform that I think will never go away. I know this is about growing, but so much more than that right now, guys. And we've got platforms, whether you're big or small, whether you got 100 people or 100 million, man. We need to continue to like be positive about this plan, keep growing, keep sharing, because the more cool people that do this, the more normal people that do this, the better off we're going to be, man. And the more legal this plant's going to get. So that's realistically what we're doing at the end of the day. I'm just a fucking grower that's hopefully going to motivate more people to see cannabis in a positive light. And it sounds fucking crazy, but I didn't know it was really that until I continued to email people and interview people and talk to people. And people tell you, right? Like, this is what we need to do, guys. We're all in this together. Like, I had Jorge Cervantes on my show today, who I never ever thought I'd have a chance to talk to. I mean,
Cool. Yeah, the guy with the book.
right?
We've all read the book. Yep.
And it's like that stuff's happening, man. And then behind the scenes, he's saying the same thing I'm saying. It's like, let's just keep sharing this. Let's keep getting people on here to talk about their first time. So someone in the comments can be like, you know what? I'm going to start my first time. I'm going to buy the $100 light. I got $200 right now. Let's get it going, right? And you're going to get that back in return, because that $200 is going to turn into £1, and then you're going to be on your way, right? Then you can start dabbling and changing it up. So I would tell Grower Joe, man, get started earlier. Get in that garden, man, and pop some beans.
Yeah, 3 months from now, you'll wish you started today. That's the truth of it.
That's awesome, dude. It's so true.
Well, it sounds like you took your own advice. You must have taken that time trip back and spoken to your previous self, because you've really done just that. The advice you've given: get in the middle of a boat, get involved in a community. I mean, that's like the definition of what you've done. You really do reach a lot of people. So, that's clearly the pattern to your success. And I think, people who have learned or been encouraged, being reminded along the way from like your tutelage, your instruction, even just you coming on and sharing your life, like, I feel like that is the best advice. And for you, that's been epic, because we see how many people you reach. Speaking of which, like, I don't want to take up too much of your time, because you have a live show you're doing like in half an hour.
Yeah.
Is there anything else? Is there anything else you wanted to say about your first grow?
Yeah, man. Absolutely, man. I mean, my first grow was the best grow I ever had, man. It's one that you're gonna continue to chase, right? Because that's the inner grower, man. That's the guy that's like, he's the guy that wants to grow. He's the guy that pushed you into it. It's pretty cool. So yeah, man, let's just keep doing this, guys. Keep sharing this. Make sure you hit that like button right now, and make sure you subscribe to this channel. And leave a comment. Let me know if you want me to bring New York John onto my show. Put that in the comments.
Ooh, wow, tempting. Well, I really do appreciate the time that you've brought. Certainly we know it's valuable. after hours, evenings, we've all got families, we've all got jobs. You said the growing was the longest thing that you've done, like the longest hobby. And that's true for me too. You kind of hit me with that. Like, that's true. It continues to be a hobby. Some days it feels like a chore because you got to show up whether you're ready for it or not. But usually by the end of it, we're pretty happy with what we got. And I hope there's a grower who hasn't grown yet, who's looking at this now and seeing Grower Joe and where he's gone with it, and seeing me and where I've gone with it. And I hope that you've at least been inspired that, yeah, start today, start tomorrow. Keep it simple. Don't go all in. Get in the middle of a community, just like Joe said. And I think you'll be well on your way to talking about your 25th grow a couple years from now. So, Joe, where can we find you?
You guys can find me on YouTube, Instagram, under Basement Grow Show. And then you can find me over on Twitch, guys, usually every Sunday. That's called Canaflix. That's a talk show over there where we talk to pretty much anybody that's related to cannabis. It's pretty cool. It's not just growing. It kind of can go everywhere. So, yeah, you can follow me over there, guys, and keep tuning into shows like this.
Hey, man, thanks a bunch. And guys, look, if you've seen me, you probably already know Joe. But if you don't know Joe, go over to Basement Grow Show. Click that like and subscribe. You got to hit that notification bell because he's been doing more live stuff, and you're going to want to know impromptu when that's coming up. And that's the only way to get to know.
100%.
Thanks, Joe. I appreciate your time, man. Hope your last grow is as good as your first. All right. Cheers.
Cheers. That's awesome, dude. Good show, man. I love your
never
background too.
I never.
There it is. Ended on a weird audio thing, but yeah, we had a great time, man. I hope you guys enjoyed that interview, that second My First Time segment. We have more of those recorded, hot and ready, in the can, ready to go already. And I've got a couple people that I've been in the talks with trying to get them to come along. I feel like it's a fun topic, everyone has a first time, and hopefully there's people out there who are listening, who's maybe it's their first time or maybe even their second time, or they just had their first time. And, like I said, results may vary. A lot of results vary. Some of the people we talked to knocked it out of the park on their first grow, had good people teaching them. Some of the people we talked to totally failed, and almost everybody had some form of experimentation before they actually got to like their first serious run where they had a harvest. A lot of you guys out there, a lot of plant killers out there, man. We're trying to give good information to those people. Maybe they could learn from others. But yeah, hey, thank you, Basement Grower Joe. Grower Joe, if you guys don't know, man, check him out. He goes live. Hit that notification bell because he does go live a lot. And he's funny as fuck. Man, I was watching his show the other day. I was in stitches because, I've caught him before. And he's recently, for some reason, YouTube's been recommending, hey, check this guy out. And so finally I subbed. But his last live show, man, I just laughed my ass off, man. He had costume changes, and he had fucking impersonations. I fucking loved it, man. It was absolutely funny. That guy's got a great sense of humor. It kind of makes it fun, So it was good to have him on. Hey, what's up? Good to see you, Chapo. I see School Crops out there. Yep. Listen to all the people he mentioned and failed for years. Yeah, that's a reality, man. Good information's hard to find, right? Yeah, so hey, Hugh, it's good to see you, Hugh. Everyone's sticking in and staying. Appreciate that you guys hit the like and the subscribe button. Well, hey, look, I opened panel up, but nobody kind of popped up. Like, I'm gonna cut this one short, right? But I'm gonna go live in the next 2 days. Like, we do got to go live, and I like to be a little bit more impromptu. I have some other things I want to talk about, but I don't have all my material ready yet. So if you guys haven't seen, I have some stuff chilling over in the veg room. If you haven't checked out that video, it's a couple videos back. I think it's just like my veg situation or my veg update, and the half of those plants, talk about them there, where they are there. I moved them into bigger containers. I got to do the other ones today. So I'm going to take this time to do that now and then get back to like family stuff and hanging out and doing a couple chores. So I appreciate everyone who's joined with me today. Kind of keeping it simple, kind of keeping it short, but you'll be seeing me in the short near future. If you haven't, in the next like 10 seconds, please hit the thumbs up, leave a comment, after the video, send it to somebody, help us reach out a little bit. If you enjoy what we're watching, I don't know, it helps me out a whole lot and kind of keeps me going. Although, I mean, we just picked up like another 50 subscribers like in a couple days. I was on a couple shows, so I was I think I had just one thing on Chad Westport's show. He had a just one thing segment. We talked about DWC that came on last week. I think a lot of people started paying attention, or at least being reminded, like that, you know, in that West Coast community, it's weird. We don't have a great integration, at least from where I stand. A lot of the East Coast and West Coast, it seems like just it's a time divide. You know, by the time those people are done with dinner and put their kids to sleep, and they're hopping on and doing like their correspondence, popping on panels, being part of a live community, talking and chat, it's like, if it's 9 o'clock on the East Coast, it's like 1 a.m. over there, you know, or whatever, 12 at night. You know, it's hard to keep up with those things. And, you know, most of us have lives, you know, you got jobs, families, stuff you need to do. This, you know, is a hobby. This is an extension of that hobby, is being part of an online community, being in chat, being live, being on panels, making content. So yeah, it's like, yeah, it's hard, dude. So I appreciate you guys always bringing us your time and your talents. All of you who show up, all of you we get a chance to talk to. Thank you again to Grower Joe for joining us today. And like and subscribe. I'm going to peace. Thank you. Press the button twice.